up 1-0 thanks to Erling Haaland, but Brighton came back and won 2-1. I mean, Nigel, we've seen Manchester City have slow starts in the past. It feels like this is a bit dangerous territory, though, doesn't it, that we're going into to Pep Guardiola? I mean, have they lost their aura? Yes, I'd have to say so. I believe Manchester City have lost their aura. We talked about Manchester City side under Pep Guardiola's guidance who were dominant in the Premier League and were very intimidating. And everyone really did fear facing a Manchester City side. But now that fear factor has gone. And if you look at today's game as an example, Brighton were 1-0 down and came back to peg Manchester City to get the result. Fabian Hurtzler and Brighton deserve a lot of credit. They were the better side and overall deserved to win the game. And the substitutions that Fabian Hurtzler made had a bigger impact than Manchester City. So for me, it's worrying for Pep. It's real difficult times still. It's the most difficult time he's ever had to experience as a manager, and it just doesn't seem to be a real super defiant bright light at the end of the tunnel yet.
Gone are the days of the Manchester City dominance in the Premier League and when they played in the Champions League as well. Forget about the results, right? Let's strip away the results because sometimes they can be misleading. Just look at the game. They don't dominate games anymore like they used to. When they had so much possession, you couldn't get a sniff. You couldn't get near them. They controlled the game. They were patient. The rhythm of the play was different. They killed games off. It was almost miserable to play against them. Those days are gone, clearly. And you move to Pep, right? Has he been there too long? Has it been too stale now? Was it the Champions League and now the bellies are full and maybe as an organization they're not pushing anymore? I don't know. But I will say this about Pep. He is one of the greatest managers we've ever seen. So take nothing away from him because sometimes it can be misunderstood. But my God, how many times can you get beat the same way? There is no world in football. We saw it with Barcelona last season in the semifinal against Inter. There is no world in football where your center backs get pulled all over the place. I mean, at one point, his center backs are 70 yards away from his goal and they don't have from their own goal and they don't have the football. And he continues to get beat in the same way in the defensive transition. And he continues to say, no, we're going to play this way. But why has it worked in the past and why is it not working now then? The personnel has changed. I still think and I've said it before, that when I look at this Manchester City side, it's not worth looking to see about what they can do attacking side of football philosophy. We know what they do. We know what Pep's about. I look at vulnerability. And for me right now, defensively, they're still vulnerable. They play the high line. It's a different personnel. It's not what he had before, where we would say they're old school footballers and leaders like Company and other players that you had in that generation. They look vulnerable defensively because they're not good individually in one-on-one situations. They take too much risks, and I feel that fear factor has gone. And we look at the partnership today of Stone and Kushinov. It's not a great partnership. It's not a great partnership to the level where you need that consistency all the way through to go on and accomplish something. So I think for me, it's more the personnel change than anything else. I think there's too many moments of transition. When they used to play, when they were at their most successful, they didn't really have like a number 9 like Haaland that would stay in between the center backs. Remember, they played a couple seasons without one, and they kept possession. And I remember watching the Silvas and the Yaya Torres and all the fantastic Rodri, obviously, all the fantastic midfielders that they had, right? That you couldn't get the ball. They control the tempo of the game. Now when you watch them play, teams feel like they have a chance because there's so many moments of loose balls in transition going both ways, which was never really a Manchester City. Pep normally controls the game, right? And press after loss. Yes. Now there's too many moments where a ball goes into the striker could just knock it down, or it could just be a fluky play. I flick it or whatever, and they're swimming. They're at bay. The center backs there's 30 yards between them. One of them's all the way up here. The other one's on the other side. Now they have to slide, and it's a jailbreak every single time. The ball comes in, boom, it gets knocked down. You get guys running from the opponents from the midfield, third men, fourth men running. And for me, it just looks like the same play that keeps on happening and happening and happening. It's happened in Champions League. It happened in Premier League. They lost 16 games last season this way. And then you watch them play and you think, okay, maybe he'll tweak this. And you watch it happen again. And he's come out and said, I will never change the way I set them up and the way I play and the way I want to do it. But at some point, you have to say, okay, I got to put these guys in. Now, whether it's personnel, I've got to put these guys that I have at the moment, right, that he spent a lot of money on, right? These are not just guys that he picked up off out of nowhere. I've got to put these guys in a situation to succeed. When you have the lead at 1-0, You have to find ways to manage the games better. Right now, he is one of the greatest coaches. I'm nobody to critique Pep, but I will say he's mismanaged a ton of games.
But if it is personnel, though, Nige, I mean, he has such control over his team and who's in and out the door. I mean, not many players leave Manchester City on their own accord. And he came out as well in the press not too long ago and said, I do not want any more players on my team. I want to have a small squad. I want everybody to play. I want everyone to be a part of it. So is it fall on his shoulders then? Because if it is the personnel, it still really reflects on who he's put in the squad. It is.
It's always on his shoulders. It's always on any manager's shoulders. You're responsible. You're a manager. That's why you go into the industry you're in. And he doesn't want a big squad because he finds it hard to leave top quality players out. But this is what comes part of it. You talk about being competitive in the Premier League and also Champions League because that is the ambition of Manchester City. You have to have a big squad. There's so many games in that you cannot keep playing the same players week in, week out. And it's just to touch on Greller's point, he's 100% right. And the counter press that Manchester City used to do is not at the same intensity as it was when they were dominating football matches. Now the turnover is what makes them very vulnerable. And teams don't have that fear factor. And you look at the modern game now, the amount of teams, how many weapons and players that they have that can break and cause problem. It's a difficult period for Pep Guardiola. We're not saying it's the end of Pep Guardiola, but it's a very difficult period, and right now he's slightly being out-coached by opponents that he's got, and Manchester City is still in a rebuild.
Do you think that the dressing room is still...
Tactics. Football is sometimes about the energy you have in the team, the energy you bring on the pitch, the intensity you play the game, and the togetherness you have. And I think we showed it today that in the second half we had this energy, we had this intensity. It was not the nicest game, I would say, but it was very intense and in the second half full of energy, and this can win you games.
Clearly the substitutions made a big difference. I think we'll call it the Fab Four that you brought on. Very rare that we see a manager bring on all four. What was in your mindset? Did you sense that there wasn't, as you've alluded to there, not enough intensity prior to that?
I had the feeling we didn't really believe in ourselves. I had the feeling that we weren't in the game. We didn't have the intensity, the energy we want to have on the pitch. You need to have on the pitch when you want to challenge Manchester City, and therefore I decided to make the 4 changes. But I always try to emphasize that it's always a decision we do together with my team, with my staff, and in the end, I think the players have to deliver on the pitch, and all the 4 subs they delivered today, and I'm very pleased with their performance. But also the players who were on the pitch had a big impact because four players can't win the game, so it's always a team performance. So I'm grateful for everyone.
Did you sense the instant impact that they had? Because almost immediately the game momentum shifted in your favour.
I think there's some character, some attitudes inside of the players you can bring out, and I think that's very important to know the profiles from your players. Who is an energy giver, who needs a little bit energy from his teammate, who can play intense, who's more the guy who controls and organizes. So all the players have different profiles, and therefore it's really important to understand the personality behind the player, because then you can play with these things, and then you can have a feeling what you need in this moment on the pitch. And today we needed energy, we needed personalities who enjoyed being on the pitch, who are energy givers, and therefore we made this change.
You mentioned personality, you mentioned energy, also perhaps leadership. You look at James Milner, 39 years young, almost seconds on the pitch, then a huge pressure moment. How much do you need someone with that mentality and belief and leadership in those moments?
I think you need it a lot. You said the word belief, and exactly that's it. He spreads it. He has always the belief that we can beat everyone, and that spreads to the others, and that spreads also to the crowd. And of course there was pressure in that moment with the penalty, but I think that he dealt with a little bit more pressure in his past already. He had some great highlights in his career. So overall I'm very happy with him, how he performed, how he is not only as a player, also as a personality. And he proved it today that he can help us.
Coming into today, there'd just been 2 games played, but people sensed that there was a little bit of disappointment from within Brighton that you hadn't had the results that you wanted. Does the whole mood shift going into the international break with this result?
Wins always change the mood. There's no replacement for wins.
And just finally, 7 o'clock tomorrow night, the famous window shuts. Have you got what you want, and is what you want staying, or is there something still to be sorted out?
I think there's nothing impossible in football. Overall, I've emphasized that I'm very happy with my squad. So I don't think that a lot of crazy things will happen
James, Brian, what a game. Congratulations. James, you two part of the Fab Four that really changed everything from the subs bench this afternoon. Just tell us first and foremost what the manager said to you all when you came on.
Yeah, basically that. Lifters get a bit more tempo into the pressing. That's what the bench is there to do. It's an important role as well, especially when you can make so many subs these days. It's important to put some intensity in the game. The boys done a good job, keeping the score 1 and, did a lot of hard work early in the game. And, it was nice to come on and impact the game.
Brian, did you sense that change of momentum in your favour when the four of you came on?
Sorry, say it again, please.
Did you sense the change in momentum in the game when the four of you came onto the pitch?
Yeah, I think when we all come in, we have to give 100%, and we have to show everybody we can have an impact in the game. And I think we showed everybody, especially from behind. I like it when Millie is behind me, and he pushed me always in training as well for 100%. So we can see it today, and yeah.
James, you get the big moment as well. You didn't have a lot of time to acclimatise, but was there any doubts in your mind that you were going to step up and take that penalty?
No, obviously we've got a list of who's taking, and Welbs wasn't on at that moment. So, I was just trying to stay calm, and like I say, it's not too easy. I've done it before when you just come off the bench and have to take one, so it's not the easiest thing, but, hopefully a few years of playing helps me deal with that.
A pressure penalty and also, to be fair, an emotional penalty. Just talk us through the celebrations and, of course, the sad loss of your former friend Diego Jota.
Yeah, obviously, Jota's meant so much to everyone and get on the score sheet, and, it's an honour to wear his number this year and get on the field. And, I didn't think I'd score too many goals this season, but, that's probably his magic of his number on the shirt, and the guy he was, that's filtered into the boots already. So, if that's the case, hopefully there's a few more goals to come this year.
And that little celebration, was that something you used to play together on the old...
No, I've seen him do it. Maybe it was a bad impression, but, the many goals I've seen him score, he had a few sellouts, and I'm pretty sure that was one of them, so...
Brian, how big a result is this? Not just the fact that you've beaten Manchester City, but it's your first Premier League win of the season.
Yeah, I think it's very important for us to give us confidence all together, and we take the 3 points, and now we start after the national break, we come with 100% again. Just
finally, James, does this set the tempo and the benchmark for the season?
Hopefully, I think we're disappointed the first 2 games. We probably deserve more out of them that we didn't get, and it's the little details that we're missing. And today, I'm delighted for the boys. Stuck at it. Obviously, a really tough game. Disappointment of the first couple of games, and a few of the boys obviously starting the game, and the guys who played midweek coming on and impacting as well. It's a real squad effort, and we felt like we deserved more from the first 2, didn't get it, and Man City at home's a very difficult game. So to be able to keep going, 1 goal down, stick together like we did, that's the exact spirit that we need for the rest of the season. And it's a bit unfortunate that we've got the international break now. Obviously that momentum we'll have to try and keep.
The penalty. We shoot again. We forgot to play. When we decide to play long, it's fine, more direct, but you have to be ready for that, be there. And we were the mix that we are not ready to win the seconds when it happened. Of course, the momentum in the Premier League always happen after goal. Can do that, but in that moment we forgot to stop to play like we have done brilliantly the first hour, and a tough opponent always have been. And we play really, really good. We create a lot, but after the goal, like really the Spurs, that. We play really, really good in the beginning. We concede a goal, and after that, we are a little bit more unstable, and non-stable because I know how good they are, how strong they are. It's because we forget to continue playing, and always you never can stop to play. It's just the beginning of the season, of course. Sports always difficult, but of course you have to find a way that to win games, and we lost the last 2. Yeah. 2 months, more or less. 7-8 weeks, yeah.
Brighton obviously changed the momentum of the game. You stopped playing. Were you looking for more leadership on the pitch from your players?
Oh, I have. It just sometimes happens. So now, we have a deficit for 6 points. I have to continue, to grow up. I have a good feeling in many things. I like a lot the way in different circumstances a physical team to play the way we played in the first hour. But after that, we stopped to play.
Rodri spoke after the game and he said that the team are making kid mistakes too often. Do you see it like that way as well?
Well, we started the season right now, so against Wolves we didn't make a mistake, and make a mistake just the beginning. We'll see what happens. So I had the feeling that we are more more active, we are more in a good moment that comparing last season. But last season lost against the Spurs in Brighton. This season happened the same.
Jack. Is it sort of you seem to have like loads of control in the first half, and you played really well. But as you said, like with the penalty, it seems like you're not able to sort of react to any adversity or anything that doesn't go their way.
No, it's to know exactly. If you decide to play long but momentum, it's fine. We decide to play short. But when we play in the build-up that we like to make the process, like we have done in the first half, and let them run. So we have to do all together. And when they decide long ball, we go all together. You have to know exactly when you go there for the second one. Sometimes the momentum, change the shapes and change the moment, receive the ball a bit more higher, and after make the control, we can do it. And in this ambivalence that we don't know exactly, that is what we miss in the last hour. Sometimes it's not easy. I was a football player, I understand completely, so I never blame in that position. So it's learn for that, and after international break, we'll have the transfer window is over, we'll have the team, and we'll work on that.
And with the winning goal, obviously the back four was sort of exposed and quite lopsided. Do you think?
It's question of time. In the moment we attack, we press really, really well. The clearance was short, and other side will not close that gap, and that's why you can see the goal. And again, fast players, with Kusa can handle it because he's so fast, but unfortunately have a knock and kick and have a problem muscular, and that's why he could not continue.